Okay, it's recording. So, welcome to Spiritual Self-Defense. This is the weekly free psychology lecture. I'm going to start off and film just the beginning part, which is the story that kind of introduces the topic for today. So, the story goes like this. When I was, I don't know how old I was, like 4 or 5 years old, right? And I went to the grocery store one day with my mom. She brought me to the grocery store, and as we were walking through the parking lot into the store, I saw it from a distance, this other guy who had a prosthetic limb, a fake limb, from the knee down, right? So I don't know if maybe he was like a military veteran or what, I don't know what the situation was, but as you can imagine, I was 4 or 5 years old, and I didn't know what was appropriate and what wasn't appropriate, and I pointed across the parking lot and I said, "Look!" I said, "Look!" And then my mom was like, "Don't say that," right? She's like, "Don't. That's not how you react, right? That's not how you react." I don't think she used these words, but you could imagine someone saying that's not appropriate, right? That's not the appropriate reaction, right? So that memory of mine was like way back in, age 4 or 5. And everyone can relate to something similar, right? Now, the topic of this week's lecture was catching negativity. And just bear with me, I'm going to tie these two together in just a second. Catching negativity. What happened this week was just my mind was just overrun with negativity, and I don't know why that was happening. But I didn't catch it until it was too late. Now, there were several reasons for it. I'm not going to go into why I became negative, whatever. In general, let's just say that I became negative as a reaction to certain things. Right, certain things that were going on in my life, or certain thoughts that were going through my mind. I was reacting to those thoughts. Okay? So, now in the same way, where you can look at that 4-year-old me, 4-year-old me, and say that reaction is not appropriate, right? Pointing at the guy and saying, look, as adults, we can now develop this ability to monitor our own psyche, our own mind, our reactions, and to say to those to watch the mind's reactions, our own mind, how it's reacting to the world. We can catch it and say, that is not the appropriate reaction. So, when I caught myself being negative, it was very powerful to me to say to myself, that negativity is not the appropriate reaction to this event in your life. You follow me? Okay. So that's a tool now. It's a tool that our mind has, that our mind we need to observe it the same way we would observe our own child, as something that's a part of us in a way. Our child is a part of us, but it's a separate thing, a separate being or entity, right? That's the correct way to approach the mind, to think of the mind. And so by doing that, you then enable yourself to issue corrections when you need to. So the way that you correct your mind is by doing it the same way you would do it to a child. That's not the right reaction. Okay? Now, I'm going to explain this word reaction, but I'm going to stop the recording right now so that we'll finish up live for whoever's here, okay?